How is it?
So,
Do you
Charlie,
have a question, Judy?
yes, I have a question. Steve said two things. He talked about the nature of reality, and he said, well, just sit. And I was wondering if you could address those 2 points.
You have 3 minutes.
That's the nature of reality. And you were just sitting. Thank you for your question. Tom, is this a serious question?
Well, kind of. Steve talked about coming around full circle, and I was just wondering, is it possible that the future has happened already?
That right?
That the future has happened already?
Well, it happened a long time ago. Yeah. Round and around. Yeah. Round and around through each sweet sound. What is that? Coleridge. Okay, never mind. You have the mic. Does that mean you have a question?
I have a question. Actually, we have quite a few newcomers. And could you introduce this practice in this school? We have more than one form of practice. And
Yeah. Steve, didn't you give orientation to the newcomers? Yeah. Did you cover all of this already? Yeah. In terms of formal meditation practice, we have three major forms. One is sitting meditation, which everyone associates with Zen practice, of course. Another is prostrations. We did a few prostrations during one of the chants this morning. Our standard early morning practice is to do 108 prostrations. Zen Master Sung-san really believed in prostrations and continued to do many prostrations every day, even into advanced old age. My old age has advanced beyond what his was, actually, at this point, and I'm having a harder time doing prostrations. But I do what I can, and Zen Master Hae cannot bend her head down below the rest of her body because of cataract surgery that she's had. And she's also getting meniscus surgery next week. So we do, the best we can. Some people really take very readily to physical practice. For others, it's more difficult. Our bodies are all different. But I do strongly recommend prostrations as a regular part of your daily practice, even if it's 9 prostrations, and then sit and gradually work your way up. When you do prostrations, you're revolving around your center of gravity, like this. So your center gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So do your legs, but that's not the point, really. The third major form of practice that we did for a half hour this morning, which is chanting. So our school of Zen is called the Kwang School of Zen. Kwang means perceive sound, perceive world sound. Kwang Se and we do a lot of Kwang Se Bosal chanting. So perceiving the sound of your voice, the sound of the other people's voices, these voices all come together during the chant. If we're chanting well, we can call it harmony. But it is a harmonious practice, no matter what the vocal quality of our chant is. So those 3 forms of practice, and another, I should have said 4, and somebody will come up with a 5th, I know, but is Konan practice. So you may be familiar with the Japanese pronunciation of koan, and we pronounce it konan. Sino-Korean pronunciation of the same word. Kongan literally means a public case. And so it's a case on record. There are hundreds of Kongan cases on record. The largest number I've ever heard is 1,700 Kongans. One of Zen Master Sung San's books is 365 Kongans for everyday life, which is what our practice is all about, how we lead our lives. So a Kongan consists of a small story, maybe a poem, some sort of anecdote appended by questions based on that. And there's usually some sort of commentary in a Kongan book, or often is. In 365 Kongans, there's also commentary after the questions. When, the most famous Kongan, and one that we really don't use, is what is the sound of one hand clapping? Well, it takes two hands to clap. What does it mean? So it stops your mind for a moment, or maybe for quite a while. So there are Kongans that I've worked on for 10 years, same Kongan. Maybe doing other Kongans along the way, that easier. When Zen Master Sung San founded this school, he gave us 10 gates, 10 Kongans. And the idea was that you had to pass through these 10 gates, to his very meticulous satisfaction in order to be eligible to become a teacher. This happens in many forms of culture. Knowledge tends to spread somehow. Not that people are giving away secrets, but 10 Kongans were not enough after a while. And he added an 11th gate and a 12th gate and a 13th gate. So we have Kongan interviews every Saturday morning, during Saturday morning practice, and during a retreat, 1-day retreat, 2-day retreat, many-day retreats, we have Kongan interviews. So this is always done in private, so the orientation that the newcomers got is that that's the interview room. That's where the interviews take place. So those would be the 4 major forms of practice. Zen Master Hae is signaling this. No, she already asked the question. It wasn't a question, it was a reminder. We also have walking meditation. So, we did a half hour of sitting this morning. On a retreat, you do many half hours of sitting, and between each half hour, walking, for 10 minutes, with your hands like this, and walking, in line, almost, military style. I mean, nobody's going, but, just in harmony with the person in front of you. And it can be slow, or it can sometimes be fast, even break into a run. So walking meditation is active. All of the other forms, well, chanting is active too, of course. So between walking and chanting, there's an element of how do you live your life? How do you use your voice? How do you use your body? So it's a complete practice, in that sense. Thank you. And a question.
So when I asked about sitting before, it was in the spirit of Ting's question, that we have new people, and maybe you could explain some of our styles of sitting and what sitting practice is about and what happens when your mind wanders, and so on.
Yeah. Notice that's when and not if your mind wanders. So there are several postures that are recommended for a sitting meditation. The most extreme is, full lotus, this leg, this foot here and this foot here. And if you can sit that way comfortably, it's very solid, very well balanced. So when your posture is erect and well balanced, the mind, the thinking tends to slow down. So it is important to develop a strong sitting practice. If you can't do full lotus, then there are various partial lotuses, you might say. So you can just put one foot on the other thigh, but the other is beneath. Or you can, might as well try to demonstrate this, I don't know. Steve, demonstrate this, where this foot is not on this leg at all. Like I said, you can see this. Got a cramp. That's an occupational hazard. So both feet are on the ground, and the legs, your shins are parallel to each other. And that also, if you practice it, can be extremely stable. So if you have, trouble with even putting one leg, if you can't put the leg on top of the thigh, put it on top of the calf. If you can't put it on the calf, put it on the ground. And always try to, adjust your posture. You might move the cushion in.
What if you can't get your knees on the ground, but your knees are up on the ground?
Yeah, we're getting to that, okay? We're going to wind up with standing seated meditation. And well, we'll get to that, okay? There are also benches. I don't have any handy here, but
Steve has a
yeah, pardon me? Oh, Steve, are you sitting on a bench? Yeah. Show everybody. Can you move?
Yeah, I can move now.
Okay. Oh, okay, so can everybody see this? This is a collapsible bench. We also have solid benches in case you don't trust the collapsible one. And you can have a very solid seated position that way. And if none of these work, just stand up. If you get,
Kneeling on the cushion, straddling the cushion?
yeah, you can do kneeling. Yeah, I've left that out. So you can do kneeling meditation, straddling a cushion. Are you going to demonstrate that for us? Look, there it is. Okay, and so if that's uncomfortable, you can prop your rear end up with a cushion and you don't have to go all the way down. Okay, there you go. Now, isn't that something? So you had a moment of awakening there. That was really good. What have I left out?
Chair, you look at the chair.
Well, you notice that Zen Master Hae, who gets meniscus surgery next week, is seated on a chair. Chair. Chairs are good. If you're really good, sometimes a cloud floats into the Dharma room. You can sit on the cloud. It's a wonderful experience, I've heard. Is that it? Yeah. Oh, yes. Now we've talked about sitting, and we have 2 minutes to talk about your mind. So, clear mind, clear mind, clear mind is a mantra you can repeat when you're sitting. And you can follow the 3 clear minds with don't know. So clear mind, don't know. So we talk about a don't know mind. Don't know mind is the mind before thinking arises. So how do you, it's easy enough to repeat, clear mind, clear mind, clear mind, don't know. But how do you actually keep clear mind, and what do you do when you notice your mind has wandered out of the Dharma room down to the ice cream stand on the corner or wherever it generally tends to roam? Just bring it back very gently, the way you would if you were training a young pet. Training a young pet to maybe even to sit still, good luck, but maybe to walk on a leash. Right? So think of your mind as a young pet. You have to be gentle but firm with it. And the sooner you deal with it, the better. It's not an uncommon experience to realize I've been spacing out for 15 minutes with some choice epithet before the 15, or maybe before the minutes. I don't know. Don't be hard on yourself. Just bring yourself back to your practice no matter how many times it takes. And you know, at the beginning, it may be 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a half-hour round of sitting, but bring it back. Find a technique that works best for you. So it might be a mantra. It might be counting the breaths. And every exhalation, you count, and when you get to 10, you start out over. That's an excellent, meditation technique. And if you ever get to 10, let me know, okay? I want to hear about it. There are other techniques. When we have classes for beginners, we spend a lot of time on this, but we're not doing that so often. It's just twice a year that we do it. If you ever have any question about sitting, about chanting, or any aspect of the practice, you should feel free, to contact us. And you can find us, excuse me, I've got a cramp in my foot. Just talking about it. I can fix this. Yeah, that's good. You can reach us through the Kansas Zen Center website and get in touch with us, and we'll be glad to talk to you. So, you don't have to wait till you can come to an interview or whatever. So I think that pretty much covers most of the forms of practice anyway. So let's just start. We're going to stop the recording.